Hello and welcome to the Astrology Plan with Me in real life transit tracking. We are going to look at the week ahead, but so today is Sunday, January 21st. We have a Gemini moon. We will be looking ahead at the coming week, but first I thought I would just do a little review of last week and how that went. I am feeling the neons, if you guys can't tell. I was at Office Depot and I picked up like all these really fun neon papers. We have like extremely cold temperatures here, and my goodness, I just like color is so uplifting. So I've been getting a lot of color, trying to surround myself with lots and lots of color. To combat a little bit of like the dreary winter vibe. So how did last week go? So I had laid out my planner with the actions and emotions, and I ended up being really grateful that I did it this way. And I really loved returning to this way of kind of organizing my planner. And again, I'm using this as a almost a little bit more like a tracker than a forward planner. I do have my schedule in an everyday carry, but this is almost like a tracker of kind of what actually happened as opposed to what I planned. And I found it really useful. And I will be tracking my transits. Aquarius season started yesterday. That has been so, I've loved the shift. So don't know how you guys are feeling with it, feeling with the changes. We certainly have still a lot of planets in Capricorn. We have Mars and Mercury both in Capricorn, and this week Venus will move into Capricorn on Tuesday. So we have plenty left in Capricorn to ground us, even though the sun is no longer there. Back to reviewing our week. I just needed this myself this week, and I was so grateful that I did it. The cold temperatures here ended up really throwing off my plans for the week because, and this is new to me, especially coming from living in the desert, but it can get too cold for school even when there's not snow. So school was canceled on Tuesday, and that, I felt like I took lots of actions to respond to that. And despite all the actions that I took, I still just ended the day feeling pretty exhausted and just drained. And then Wednesday had a pretty tough morning. I have a baby who's teething, so that we haven't been getting a ton of sleep. That was a bit hard. I had some pretty intense skin stuff happen, kind of skin flare stuff. I don't always track health, but I do find it really useful to track health when a kind of like an issue's coming up. So I made some notes about that and want to try to kind of get to the bottom of what that might be. And then I did kind of end up feeling a little bit better. And it was really great for me to write this all out, because still, even now on Sunday, when I think back at my week, I do think back and the hardest moments stick out, as well as some really good moments that happened towards the end of the week that I'll go over in a minute. But I know when I learned that our brains are actually hardwired to dwell on the things that don't go well, that was a game changer for me. And I notice it so much with myself of like, a lot of things will go well, but the one thing that doesn't go well takes up all my mental energy. So I really valued having this laid out this week, so I could see that, yes, some things didn't go well. Some things were out of my control. I found that really, really draining, but there were a lot of things that actually did end up going well. On Thursday, I know I ended up taking a small action that really changed my own energy. Sometimes very small actions can just, like the energy of the action really helps me shift my energy, even if it's not like the hugest thing. So I had called my kid's school about something, and just making that little phone call was actually a big shift in my energy. And then as the week went on, I realized, on Friday, I took another action to reach out to the organizer of a planner conference. And I got such a wonderful response. She actually called me within like a few hours of reaching out to her. We chatted. She was like the nicest person in the world. So that was such a lift on Friday, and it's just really fun when, to reach out and take an action and have a response that's positive, that comes back. And then on Saturday, I got another response from something I had reached out, honestly, probably a couple weeks ago. And on Saturday, I received an email back about a teaching opportunity. So I was just super excited about that. Saturday, I also saw Venus in the morning sky. Gosh, that is wonderful. That is so wonderful. I'm actually just going to highlight that. So wonderful, because so here it's just been, even though Venus is technically, in the sky every morning, we've just had so much snow, and here the visibility is just like, when it snows, it's just, the sky is like a opaque cloud. So I had all week, Venus has not been visible in the sky. I think on Thursday evening, I actually saw the moon and Jupiter out in the evening sky, and it was so hazy, but that was really fun to see. So the moon and Jupiter were hanging out with each other. That's going to happen a couple more times. So mid-February, I'll kind of note when that's coming up, if you guys want to look for the moon and Jupiter together. I love looking for planets when they're close to the moon, because it's easy to spot. It's easy to find the moon, and then from there find the planet. But yes, so I was really so happy to be able to have that visibility of Venus yesterday morning. And then today you can see our washing machine is broken again. But we're going to deal with that later. Right now, I get to have my work time, which is my happy time. So let's set up this week to come. All right, while I do this, I'm not sure what way I'm going to go with this. All right, I love this washi, but I'm actually going to go counter what is happening in the actual sky. I'm going to go with this washi. Yes, this is the vibe I'm feeling. So as I set this up, I wanted to let everyone know that I have started a Patreon. Currently, I only have one tier, but if you are enjoying my videos here on YouTube and you want to support, I also offer horoscopes through the Patreon. That's a nice way to support. Another way, and only if you feel called, please, no obligation ever. I am just so happy you are watching this, that you're following your own journey with astrology. I mean, that's what it's about. It's not about anything else. But I've been working myself with kind of just ways to allow people to say thank you with money when they want to. And last week, someone brought it to my attention that there was no way to just tip me one time. I had mistakenly believed people could do this through Patreon, but apparently I don't have the kind of account that allows it. I need to do more or something. So I have a tip jar, and it is linked in my, it's not specifically the name brand tip jar, but it's like a tipping site that is linked in my, my link tree on Instagram. So that is also available if you want to just do a one-time contribution. And a big part of this for me has just been like making that available. Again, when we're talking about energy shifts, it shifts my energy to open up that path for people who want it. And sometimes that's like a hard shift to make, but I'm really proud of myself for making that. And thank you to the person who brought it to my attention that it was not actually available on my Linktree like I had thought it was, and available on my Patreon like I thought it was. So here we are. I'm gonna do the same action and emotion tracking this week going forward. It really worked for me. I really liked it. And there's still some things that I'm trying to figure out health-wise. So I think that I'm probably gonna have space for that too. I might just put like a little highlighted column here. I might just kind of highlight here just as a reminder to make a note about health. I don't know, do you guys track health in your planners? I know a lot of people do, and I go in and out of it. Sometimes, most of the time I don't, but when seems like there's something up, I do think it's useful. And so this will be my actions. And this will be health. And then this will be emotions. All right, and since we are going with the colors, oh, is it gonna smear? Okay. I probably should have put a highlighter down first. Right. And then we have our astrology of the week. So on Monday, we will have the moon shift into Cancer in the mid-afternoon. Then on Tuesday, Venus will shift into Capricorn very early in the morning. And then Wednesday, we have that Cancer moon leading up to a full moon. So 12:37 a.m. is Mountain Standard Time. So if you are in Pacific time, that full moon is actually technically on Wednesday for you. And then no matter what time zone you're in, looking at the sky Wednesday night, well, I mean, as long as you're kind of like in the US or Canada, if you're looking at the sky on Wednesday night, like it will look full, as well as probably Thursday as well. Like both nights it will appear full in the sky. That's kind of fun, and that's kind of cool. So I might actually just highlight that for myself, just to remember that the full moon might appear on the calendar time-wise exactly 12:37 a.m. That's set to Denver, Colorado, but it'll actually just be looking full both nights. And then we'll have the moon shift to Leo, spend the day in Leo on Thursday, Friday, Saturday midday, it'll shift to Virgo, and we will have a nice kind of Virgo moon to end our weekend next week. So if you can't tell, I really like Virgo moons. They make me feel calm and grounded and organized and empowered. I just really love that. I love the Virgo moon energy. And what's going on with this Venus transit into Capricorn? So Venus is joining Mars and Mercury in Capricorn. And Venus in Capricorn, it can be a little bit of a kind of like a energy. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn and Venus on the face of it don't have a lot in common. Venus is all about uniting people, creating good vibes, kind kind of happy, yeah, just like good vibes, connections, love, obviously, heart openings, just a lot of crossing boundaries and finding what unites us and all of that. Saturn is about drawing boundaries. Saturn can be a bit dry, can be a bit cold kind of vibes, can be a little bit distant, can be hard. Saturn is very concerned with like serious matters, long-term things, longevity, whereas Venus is often concerned with like pleasure and living in the moment. So Venus in Capricorn, like Venus in the territory of Saturn, and specifically Capricorn. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius, but specifically in Capricorn, where Saturn's very concerned about building things and like initiating new structures. The way that I can kind of try to understand this energy is I think of both Venus and Saturn so Venus rules Libra and Taurus. Saturn is actually exalted in Libra. So even though Venus is entering Capricorn, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, I think about Saturn, and then I try to think of the commonalities or where Saturn and Venus would maybe get along. Like if there was like a Venn diagram, like where would they cross? So in terms of kind of Libra helping me, Libra is kind of like pointing me, like the signpost in a way to like, where do these two planets have some signification crossing or something? And what comes to mind is that in order to build anything that is lasting, you have to unite people and you have to bring people together. And you need balance to do that. So I'm going to be thinking with this transit of Venus through Capricorn a lot about balance, balancing, for example, home and work, balancing the need to create, nurture, create, happy times, living in the moment, good experiences, and the need to spend time laying the ground for the future and building something for the future. So that's where my head's at. That's where my head's at with this. I feel like there's a lot to go on with that. I don't know if you guys are feeling into some of these transits. If you are, that's awesome. If not, that totally works too. I tracked my transits for quite a long time when I was only kind of picking up maybe one or two things, and I still keep it really, really simple. As you can see, this week, I really am just dealing with like the moon, the full moon on Thursday, and the Venus into Capricorn. And then I'll be taking that a little bit in my journal. I'll be taking that a little bit deeper, looking at specifically like my areas of life, the houses that these things are happening in. For example, the full moon in Leo is happening in my 10th house of career and calling. So for myself, I am noting that I'm like building up to this, I'm getting some kind of positive things happening in that area of life. So part of me is like kind of excited, like, ooh, like I wonder what's coming next. I'm also hoping full moons that can be very reflective and can be a way to kind of show us a little bit of maybe something we might need to see about ourselves. Like a full moon can be like taking a hard look in the mirror sometimes. And I can tend to feel a little bit ungrounded in general during full moons. So I'm wondering a little bit if there's some things that I might need to see about myself in that area of career and calling, and if I might need to be a little extra open on Thursday to maybe self-evaluation, maybe looking at that area, maybe doing a little bit more of an inventory of the kind of the money stuff with my career and calling, because I do feel like that's a kind of a weakness of mine. If anyone is really good at that stuff, like the nitty gritty stuff of like pricing and stuff like that, I would love to pick your brain, because I'm not great at it, and I tend to, I don't know, I just tend to get overwhelmed, and I know I need to figure it out, because I know that it needs to be figured out, or I can't keep doing what I'm doing. The whole reason I have time to do this right now is just because I am taking care of my kids, and my kids are young, and they're not going to be young forever. So if I don't figure out my that money part of my kind of calling, I'm gonna reach a hard point where I'm gonna be forced to do something else. So and I mean, that's fine. I did that for years. I started the planner with a full-time job, so it's not like that would be the end of the world. In some ways, that's the more comfortable thing for me to do. I don't know. We'll see how it all works out. But this full moon in my career and calling, maybe there'll be some kind of insights that I can gain from that. And then, yeah, that's our week. And I have my sunshine washi because it is going to be snowing and cold all week for me. So I'm gonna need my sunshine, and it's gonna live here in my planner. I hope that you guys have a good week. I hope that, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope that this is kind of serving you guys in some way. And let me know, if you want to see more hardcore astrology, or if this is enough. There is, of course, a lot happening in the sky, but I've just chosen to do these videos with what I'm focusing on, and I go through phases of focusing on kind of going really deep into the astrology and not so much. This week, I mean, the one thing I'm hoping to happen this week with the astrology is that I just want to see Venus in the sky. I really want to see Venus in the sky. I am hoping that we get some clear days. I'm going to just give myself some little pink dots to symbolize, keep looking up. Maybe you'll see Venus in the morning sky. All right. Have a great week, guys. Bye.